Hello and welcome. There's no opening intro video, which means it's a special episode. Why don't we have that recorded by someone? Someone can do that better than I can.
What the special?
I the Kurt Loder MTV News like intro.
Do the newscaster from the Muppet Show guy. Breaking news.
I fucking don't have that cued in my head. So sorry about that.
Amazing.
Anyways, that beautiful, luscious voice that you might be confused about hearing because you're listening to this in audio-only mode is Wulfegang. He's joined here with me and Kaz and Jveezy, doing what we should have done last week or the week prior, but we didn't because of goddamn holidays screwing everything up. It is the 2017 recap prediction show. Every year, we do one of my favorite things that we stole from Tom Merritt and the rest of those crew, where we make predictions of the coming year, and we did that in 2017. We did it in 2016, and we're going to do it again in 2018. But that's actually now going to be split into a separate show. We're just going to do the current recap of what we did. What are you shaking your fucking head for, you son of a bitch? You do it, intro boy. Next.
Okay. Hey guys, welcome to the show. This is Drunk Kids Gaming, the Drunk Kids Gaming podcast. I'm your host, King Kaz. This is Curly. We're joined by our two good friends, as Curly has already said. Welcome to 2018, everyone. Oh my God. New year, new show, same fat motherfucking faces. So, as you guys know, every year we do our year-end recap. So last year we did 2017, it's 2018. So we're going to go through everything we talked about in 2017 and talk about that. But we're going to separate out, because we don't like 5-hour shows, we're going to separate out the 2018 predictions for next week. So look forward to that. But without further ado, we're going to get into all the things that we predicted for 2017. Curly?
Let's not.
That was pretty terrible, actually. Yeah, that was a good job. Yeah. Whatever. Yeah, no, so I wanted to save kind of like the explanation of this for the actual episode, because I'm only going to probably say it once, or going to say it good once. But basically, and I mentioned this, it's so funny because like I kept thinking about this as this came up. This kept coming up in our personal communications about how are we going to handle the next prediction show and when are we going to do it? Because, I mean, everything's so busy and everyone's been so busy. And then I went and watched last year's episode, and the first thing I say is, man, from here on, I'm going to change the way we do these episodes. Like, we need to split these up. And like, I had the foresight, like past Curly is always the more intelligent, wiser of the two. Like, I always look at myself, I'm like, you had it figured out then, you smart shit. So the previous years prior to this, we tried to do this thing where we put everything together and we were like, okay, this is what we predicted. And now what do you predict? And this is what we predicted, now what do you predict? And it ends up being a jumbled up, confused episode. So last year, we had Wulfegang and Bryce. Not Bryce, because Bryce is now snowed in. So we have Jveezy here from 2016's prediction episode, filling in and taking responsibility for all of Bryce's predictions. And we're going to just basically, in this one complete small episode of normal time space, discuss our predictions and how bad or right we were from 2017. It was a simpler time back then. Actually, no, it wasn't. What was funny is we were coming right off of a Trump election for last year's thing, which in that episode, the first thing we all get into is just like, oh man, how's everyone feel about 2016 us, where we didn't think we'd have Donald Trump as president, which is great. But yeah,
so that episode was recorded pre-inauguration, right?
Yeah.
Because you said it was right after the new year.
It was yes. So it was
about 20 days
January.
or so.
Yeah. We had no idea what it was actually like to have the President Trump, but we knew that we were getting a President Trump. So
yeah.
And so there was a lot of like, honestly, like we'll jump into it later, because I don't necessarily want to keep what we're doing in a. I don't know why we even came up with this, or I came up with this, but we had this like sectional plans where we're like, we'll discuss games and then we'll discuss technology, and I really think I stole this all from Tom Merritt, because then it was like, oh, then we'll discuss politics and I'm like, that's none of the things that were any of our wheelhouses that we actually should be discussing. It's more fun to just let us bring up ideas and stuff. But since we covered it last year, we're gonna this year recap what we found. there's so many things I'm so excited to share because listening to my dumb self make so many dumb and then also on point predictions was very fun today. I want to bring some of the stuff that Jveezy brought up that he never got to actually atone for from 2016. So originally, when we could discuss games, one of your best releases was Uncharted 4. That's what Jveezy said, which ended up being a great game. Final Fantasy 15 was considered your worst thing to ever come out, or it was going to be the worst thing of 2016.
Biggest disappointment.
Yeah.
What it also says on
biggest
there.
disappointment / worst game. I know you want to cover any of these that you actually saw, or
I just know that my coworker borrowed my PS4 to play Final Fantasy 15 and never bothered finishing it. So I think I was right.
I mean, the only other person I know that might have played, Wulfegang, you played through 15, right?
I made it out of the first town.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
As far as I've
Jveezy,
gotten.
Jveezy.
I want points for that.
I'll give that to you. I don't think anyone else played it. I didn't touch it, and I like Final Fantasy.
still
That's
wanna play
unanimous as far as I'm concerned.
That was the
I
big car simulator. Fucking, I think they're still working the game, right?
I got one person from IRL
Pretty
and one
Boy
person
Simulator.
from the internet, and that, as far as I'm concerned, that's as representative as I need to be.
Someone said that Final Fantasy 15 would be the last of the Final Fantasies. I remember reading that somewhere. I don't know, or listening. Maybe I listened to it somewhere in one of the podcasts. I don't know who said it, but is that a thing that we're on point for? Or I think 15 made enough money that they're going to keep making Final Fantasies. I don't think Square Enix is going anywhere with that.
I don't know. I mean,
You don't see a 16 coming?
I think their style of how they've decided to do them now with like online, and then story driven, and then online, and then story driven, have done them relatively well with a big like sing-songy thing, but I don't see why they wouldn't.
Yeah, me neither. I don't see any reason why they hold up at this point.
Their next big thing is the Final Fantasy VII remake.
Yeah, or is that what they're finally like pushing forward? Because I remember there was all this the mall stuff like what was the Worlds or whatever, Final Fantasy Worlds that came out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the little Pokemon thing.
Yeah, the chibi version of everything.
Yeah.
And I heard
Chibi
it was okay. I never played it. I never even got the inkling to play it, nor was I ever once requested to play it by anyone. So I never did that. Jveezy said in 2016 that solar would explode in the marketplaces everywhere.
Kind of did.
Yeah,
You can't go to Home Depot without getting harassed by Solar City
my
people.
dad is constantly talking about that day he's going to put solar panels on his roof, and he's just waiting to redo his roof to do it.
Yeah.
So I mean, if my dad's talking about it, like,
Yeah.
it's a real thing.
And
right?
speaking of Pokemon, I predicted somebody would get injured playing Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
We've had a number of injuries.
So
since
we
then,
actually,
so, yeah.
so in the episode we had last year, we did actually talk about this. We talked about it because we had a couple podcasts that we actually discussed, either real and or fake Pokemon Go stuff. I wanted to wait for that one just because I could troll it into a thing that I predicted last year that so last year I said the news media would be hard seeking out for ratings and whatever that one good like child gets injured in VR game story, like, which would bring everyone to HuffPo or wherever the fucking whoever wrote the article, like they're like, oh yeah. See, I knew it, VR was dangerous for children, like I was waiting
Jeff
for that to happen.
Will say it's as bad as marijuana,
which I guess we didn't see any of those. I didn't see any like kid plays VR and punches himself through the head or something, none of that happened.
I think the closest thing was somebody in Pokemon Go found a dead body.
Yeah, it's the closest to somebody actually dying
without
was
Pokemon
that.
Go.
But
they found a dead body, but no one actually like died or anything.
Yeah, as far as injuries though, there were car accidents and stuff caused by the game, so
Well, yeah, and I've watched a 27-year-old friend of mine run into traffic to try to catch a goddamn, Rhyhorn or whatever the fuck she was trying to get. Sorry. But that's good. So yeah, Jveezy. I think you did good. I mean, we gave you a lot of credit for what you had done. You had said we'd have no more war than we already have in regards to conflicts. I don't know why you brought up war in general.
Well, because we had a whole category about who would go to war.
A bunch of really bullshit shit was we brought up in 2016.
This was part of a 24-hour show, wasn't it?
It was.
This sounds like shit that we talk about during a 24-hour show.
It was bad. So I'm gonna go into it because we kept good documentation for the start of the episode, and then as the episode trailed on, you could tell the way that I was running the episode is originally I started showing like, okay, guys, let's all discuss what we have in this document, and then we'll go on to predictions. And it started being like, okay, well, here's what we said last year, and then it was like, you know what I think is going to happen this year, and then we start talking about that, and we got really confused and really all over the place. So, bear with it as we go down. But so we kind of started with gaming. We talked about our best games intended to release in 2017. So that Red Dead Redemption that we all leaned in heavily on.
I think all of us but one. When
We all really
that trailer.
We all really believed that that Red Dead Redemption 2 trailer. We all basically predicted that Red Dead Redemption was going to be the game that was going to come out in 2017. That was going to be awesome as fuck and amazing, and it never did. I gave everyone the option to have backup games. I said Prey and/or Zelda. I leaned in with Prey or Zelda. Prey was good. I enjoyed Prey. I still think Prey's a great game. Didn't win anything at all. Zelda turns out won everything. So suck on that.
I don't believe in Jeff Keighley and his award show, so it doesn't matter.
We made so much fun of Jeff Keighley in the last episode. It was bad. If you ever want to hear some homeboys dig deep on Jeff Keighley, last year's prediction episode is the episode to fucking listen to, because we make some really dark jokes. Not dark jokes, but I mean, we made some jokes about Keighley and Kojima fucking getting so much dick into both of them.
Oh, I remember that now. I remember that now.
Hey, brother, like, look, you make the boots, you wear them, all right? And Jeff Keighley made those boots with his eyes, man, all right? I know those eyes. I've looked at a gentleman with those eyes that Jeff Keighley looks at Kojima with, all right? I know what his intentions are.
So in this document, though, also we wrote that Bryce said Nier, or he wanted Nier, and listening to Bryce discuss Nier Automata during the Game Awards show. Now I still don't have any knowledge of the actual game, but now I'm really bummed out that I didn't know anything about it, because apparently it was a big thing, and
amazing game.
Yeah, it turned out to be a great game, and Bryce was super hesitant about it, but he was really excited that it would be hopefully a thing, and he was leaning in very shyly towards that. Wolf, you were saying Horizon was going to be a thing. Turns out it was. So this is what I wrote down from my listening of the episode.
Look at us, we smart.
So down in here, there was a whole long section of the episode last year, Kaz, that you expressed your desire to either you would come over and walk me through and force me to play through the Persona series. You wanted me to play through Persona. You were very excited about that. You were like, "This is the thing that you need to fucking play." And I was like, okay. And I found it interesting, given the way that the years worked out, that Persona 5 got so much shit. And you also said it was going to be a great game. Every single person on the panel last year thought that the new Mass Effect game would suck asshole. And so the 2017 Mass Effect, did that fail anybody or excite anybody?
It didn't do good, as far as I remember.
No, I remember it being without playing it, I just remember the sentiment being that it was an okay game, but just the not the voice acting, but the facial expressions were just weird.
The animation was just so off. that it was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that seemed to be throwing people off. But as far as the game itself, I don't remember people complaining too much about the gameplay.
I had not played any Mass Effects because the first one that I tried to play was just kind of no thanks when I got to the combat stuff, and I was like, okay.
So, can we just
You can do whatever you
can
want.
we
Boo.
just talk about
Yeah.
how utterly wrong you were in the games you were going to be disappointed in, because both of these games you fucking jerked off to. Fucking
yes.
you were like fucking face
Okay.
the fuck out of these
So
games,
what
dude.
Kaz is
Like,
referencing
oh.
right now is that in the document I gave my hand up, and I admit I might have been trying to stir some shit with my predictions, but I was saying the biggest disappointment, and I was sticking on biggest disappointment because I was thinking how much hype we had for them, and I was going for biggest disappointment was going to be either Resident Evil 7 or Horizon Zero Dawn. It turns out they were both fantastic, and I loved them all. So, whatever. Kaz's biggest disappointment didn't even exist. And
That's how you do it, baby. That's how you do it. That makes it a disappointment. It didn't exist, so it disappointed.
whatever.
I stand.
All of
tall,
our
sir.
predictions for fucking best game is gone. I love that we fell for it too, because we made in the previous episode we made the big joke about how we were, because the year prior we were all like, Zelda's gonna be amazing, and then Kaz goes in and he's like, Zelda's been coming out for 6 years now. It's always coming out. It's never gonna actually get here. Like, we're not gonna get that Zelda game. And sure enough, we vote for Red Dead Redemption, which never even fucking shows up this year.
Hey, it's coming. Unlike your fucking Zelda god, fucking they will deliver. All right.
Wolf's biggest disappointment: Ghost Recon Wildlands.
Oh,
That played the fuck out of.
another man who's just wrong.
I recall someone
flat
having
out
a
wrong.
really good time in
And I
Wildlands.
still have a good time in Wildlands.
Out of all the games that we played this year, one of the games we're still playing is definitely Wildlands, right?
Yeah.
And what remind me, Kaz, what was Overkill's Walking Dead game?
So it was gonna be. It was just an announced Overkill is going to make a Walking Dead game, and Overkill are the people who make the Payday series, and I was just like, it was at the moment where like Payday just wasn't fun, and it was just a buggy piece of shit, and you're just like, there's just no way that's going to be a thing that anyone cares about, like. And I don't think it ever came out. Like, I don't even think it came out. Oh, wait. Hold on. Let me see.
I think it came out a long time ago. It was called Left 4 Dead 2.
Yeah. I mean, so if you do a 4-player Payday style, Payday's got a little bit more of a planned style. And I was excited for this. I think Kaz sold me on this when he was talking about, like, the idea of what a Payday style Walking Dead game could be. But I don't think it ever came out.
Oh, it's supposed to come out this year.
This year, 2018.
Mm-hmm.
So both your games are
Coming out fall.
both your
Look here.
your predictions just don't come out.
Just copy this line over to the next prediction show.
Basically, Bryce was heavily leaned into being mad about this. And
There's a press kit. Can we get a press kit?
No, the press kits for artwork and whatnot. You can email them. But Bryce was very anti this Metal Gear game because we were coming off the Konami, Kojima, bullshit and whatever. And our previous episode we talked about a bunch of the Kojima cast and shade and whatever, and what he would do with his new shit and how it would be. I think actually someone was bold enough to say that Konami would fold after all this bullshit. And I
No,
don't
man,
know,
they got that Yakuza money.
That
dog.
was the previous prediction show, and
Yeah.
I believe that was all of us.
Yeah, I think we were all leaned in heavily and said like, yeah, no, fucking Konami's gonna die after this. Have any of you heard anything about Red Dead? I mean, we saw the trailer, that hot trailer,
Yeah, the trailer was the last thing. I
that
think.
hot beef trailer. Oh, there's so much crap on my mouse pad. So what notes I've taken from the previous episode is actually at this point in time of the episode, we brought up Mario Odyssey as the Nintendo Switch savior of all time.
Fucking Nintendo Switch.
I leaned in heavily saying I don't know if they can capture the whole audience that they want from the Mario Odyssey game. I said Mario Odyssey is going to be a bad game. That's what I started off with, which, as you all know, I fucking cried horribly during that game. And Bryce turned me around where he looked at me in the eye and said, "Name a bad main 3D Mario game." And I at that point I started changing tactics, and I honestly I started saying, and I wish I had the time because I wanted to clip the actual soundbite of me talking about this. I was like, here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna start playing a Mario game, and I'm going to want to hate it, and within a couple minutes, I'm not going to be able to explain why I can't stop smiling because it's going to be like a big playground. I said those words a year ago about Mario Odyssey, and I was like, wow, you could have literally written that copy after I had played the game. Like, and I was like, Nintendo always makes you feel like a kid with a big giant smile on your face. And I was like, well, there you go. That's my Mario fucking Odyssey thing. And everyone was in the chat was like, did Curly just completely like Two-Face change around? And I was like, yeah, I did. Because you know what? As much as I want to think that the Mario game's going to be bad and the Switch is going to be bad, Mario is going to be amazing. And you can't fight that. Turns out, he did exactly that. He did everything that. Bryce came in heavily with Danganronpa being
Danganronpa.
being a great game. Was that great? I knew some kids that played it and I never
Was
played
it the Havoc? Was it the Havoc one?
The one that everyone played on Twitch. I don't know.
If it was has Havoc in the title, I own it. I played it. It's a pretty good game.
Bryce and Wolf, you were both very hard sexually happy about hot shot golf.
Hell yes.
So you were
Hell
both
yes.
you were like, this game's gonna be amazing. So
The monstrosities you can create in that game are amazing.
I still feel like none of the golf games that have come out are better than Winning Putt.
Yo, Winning Putt is amazing, brother.
pay to win,
it's so good.
So Bryce, and this is going to be Jveezy has to deal with this. Bryce leaned in heavily on Resident Evil 7 being too bad, like very bad. He was saying that Resident Evil 7 could die if it doesn't get away from the Resident Evil name.
Man, was he wrong?
Why you got to do me like that, Bryce?
Well, Jveezy, do you have an answer for that?
It was the concept, his concept that may or may not work. Because he leaned heavily and said Resident Evil would not work. Or he actually later he did say that Resident Evil, if it does work, it'll bring horror back into the mainstream.
I don't know if it did either.
In a weird
Doesn't he?
sense, right? He's right, because they didn't right out of the gate give you Resident Evil as you knew it up to that point.
Yeah.
Right? Like they really actually did give you something totally different.
So
And then
what I said at the
slowly
beginning,
as you go through.
what I said at the beginning of the other episode was that Resident Evil is going to piss off fans of Resident Evil and bring in people that are not interested in Resident Evil but interested in horror shit. Because it didn't. I was, and I said this in the last episode. I was a person who didn't realize that the the trailers that they were putting out. Remember those playable ones where you put the video in and everything? I didn't realize that was actually going to be the game. Like, I didn't realize that was really the game.
Yeah.
I was like, this just seems like they're just trying to tease some kind of marketing thing. And there's no way this is actually going to be the game. This feels nothing like Resident Evil. Like, there's no fucking, turn around immediately switch. There's no fucking like where I don't feel awkward enough to be a Resident Evil. But turns out I love the game. It was fun. Still haven't played it in VR though.
It's interesting that the Evil Within 2 is more Resident Evil than Resident Evil is Resident Evil.
Yeah. Wulfegang, you called out hard that Red Dead Redemption was not coming this year.
Give that man a gold star.
I mean, I wrote the words down. Wolf
Even though
called
I said
Red Dead
it
Redemption
was gonna be one of the best games of the year.
You did.
It's still not gonna come out.
You said a lot of contradictory predictions. Because Bryce actually said Resident Evil was going to be the best game released of 2017, and then also said that
it was going to be the biggest disappointment. Yeah, it was going to piss off Resident Evil fans. But he also then said it was going to bring horror back to stuff. He was also, we were unaware of, at this point in time, we were unaware of when the VR version would drop. We didn't realize that it would take the whole year to get the VR version. And so a lot of these predictions were discussed based on the VR stuff as well. Like it would either bring in people to the VR world or it would be too much VR. Kaz, I have quote unquote here, I don't care about VR. In my documents.
I still don't care about VR.
There was a point where we started talking about peripherals in VR, and we all had like a good 45-minute conversation where Kaz checked the fuck out, and then later he was like, hey guys, I was actually gonna not say anything about the section, but now that you guys are starting to talk about it, I actually hate everything about what you're saying, so I hate VR. I hate VR peripherals. And then I think your prediction was there's too much shit. Yeah, VR. That's what you wrote. VR, too much extra shit. That's not VR.
There's too much extra shit, but it also says in here that there's going to be the comeback of augmented reality stuff like Google Glass.
So we had a long, and this is jumping far ahead, we had a long discussion about HoloLens because that was the hot topic at the time. Does anyone remember what HoloLens is or if it's still a thing?
I didn't know what it was at the time, and I still don't know what it is now.
It's Microsoft's big thing. They mention it in every document that they talk about. They're like, this is HoloLens compatible.
Put on and it's like 3D Minecraft, and you can rotate it around.
It's an augmented reality where you can go into the spaces through the glasses, and the glasses project whatever the thing you're doing, and it's all in the glasses. So there's no need to be connected to a PC to do it. There's no program running except in the glasses. And that was the big excitement, and everyone was like, I don't know. Yeah, if it works. But we had a lot of HoloLens discussions. This is way further. Hold on. Everyone kind of solidified on HoloLens flopping in the year. But I don't think we've heard anything about it flopping or not, or anything about it.
We haven't heard anything about it all year. I mean, not even at E3 or anything.
The only reason I hear about it still is because I have to implement and put out and deploy Microsoft products all the time, and I don't know. No one's heard about ZSpace. There's a fucking crazy stupid company that's doing ZSpace shit, and they call it VR, but it's a fucking active 3D goggle you wear, and you play on a PC that has head tracking, so you can move your head. And it's not VR at all, but it's like, oh, HoloLens compatible, and you're like, okay, what the fuck is HoloLens? And they keep bringing the name up, and I'm like, oh, I remember they were kind of mentioning that.
Huh.
All right, cool.
So yeah, it's what I thought it was. It's something you see in release notes all the time, and then just never turns into an actual product.
I would like to lean in with now. Wolf was angry about the Switch.
I was so wrong. Worst prediction ever.
If you look at the last episode, everyone thought the Switch was terrible, except me. If you remember, if you guys are long-term listeners at this point, you heard me on a lean up to this that I was very much Nintendo is dying. And my opinion was that Nintendo was going to replace all of their hardware contraptions with cell phones. And so prior to 2016, I was of the opinion that since they were now releasing their games on Nintendo or on iPhone and Android OSs, that they were going to make some kind of dock that you could stick your phone in, and your phone would be the main processor, and the dock would be the video, and then the dock would output to a TV, and that's how you'd play your quote-unquote Nintendo system, right? That was my big thing. And it turns out I was just one hardware hit from that being true, because technically it is that. They just sell you a cell phone.
You know what I remember about that? Like the thing I really, really hard remember about those conversations is me and you were both just so adamantly like, fucking Nintendo's dead, dog. They're dead. Mario dead. Fucking all your little shit dead. All your little friends fucking dead. They can't come over anymore. They're fucking dead.
We're
so adamant on all of that
Mirth
shit being
is
dead.
Dude. Kirby, you like Kirby, right? Kirby, he's no longer going to be can't play him anymore because Nintendo's not going to let the IP go away, and he's dead. You can't play Kirby anymore. You think your kids are going to play with Kirby?
Nothing,
yeah.
But Endless Runner and fucking puzzle games, you little fucking shit.
Yeah. If it's not Bejeweled, you're not playing it.
And I remember during the Nintendo Switch launch live stream that you guys did, and I think I was a part of that too, but it seemed like the consensus was that they had announced all these different titles, but nothing was going to come out immediately. And so everybody was saying, okay, well, that's great that we've got this thing that you guys have finally announced it, but then nothing's coming out for it. So that's just going to kill it upon launch. And then they said, oh, well, actually Zelda's coming out. And then that's kind of when you did your about face. But then everybody else was still like, no, like nothing's coming out. I don't want to buy this yet. And nobody's going to buy this thing because nothing except for ARMS is going to be available on it. And it turns out like that didn't really kill the hype for it at all.
You're dead on. You're dead completely on, because I switched when they said Zelda, and then Kaz in the podcast said Zelda's been coming out forever. Has it ever fucking come out? It's not gonna happen. And so
my quote,
I had the big like about face with the Switch, and I said okay, cool, because last year we right before the show aired, we got announcement that we'd have the Switch. The Switch was going to be a standalone console, and it was going to be a thing that you could dock, and we got all the hardware stuff, so it was going to come out in March or whatever the fuck. And Bryce leaned in heavily saying, no one's going to fucking buy it. Bryce said, the no games thing is going to kill it. It has no games coming out until fall. And the issue is games are going to kill the Switch. And he brought up heavily like statistics about the PS3 coming out with no games, and then Kaz tried to talk about games that were coming out for the PS3, and it was very heavily like Bryce was like, it's not gonna fucking happen, the Switch is gonna fail. And I said, you know what, when it comes down to it, I made fun of the Mario game, and I made fun of the Zelda game, but when it comes down to it, I'm gonna buy it. And then Wulfegang came in with the quote unquote, I am not buying a $300 Zelda machine. And it turns out,
though. Technically, I bought two.
He bought two, because the only reason I have a Switch is because Wulfegang bought a second one and needed to pawn off his first one on someone. And I was like, if you got it, I'll buy it. I guess I will, because I need it. And I wasn't gonna seek it out, but the fact that you brought it up, I was like, okay, let's go in on the Switch. And I don't regret my decision, because I love my little Switch a lot.
I mean, even I'm thinking about getting one, and
I mean, at this point, at this point in the year, it's universally considered a great hit. It's already surpassed lifetime Wii U sales. It's already surpassed every expectation it could ever have done in the marketplace. It's a runaway hit, and it's got life in it. And who knew? Oh wait, no one really knew. Here I brought this up because I had forgotten about this, and is this still and correct me if I'm wrong, because I purposely didn't look this up. Does anyone remember that they originally announced this and then said it was going to change around this time, and I feel like I haven't heard about it? The Switch's online payment for online service. Remember how they were going to say they were going to charge for online play in the fall?
I haven't heard anything about that.
Well,
for
remember
a long time.
they were gonna, like, just like Xbox Live, just like PS4's fucking gold stuff. They were gonna charge, and we were all anti. We were all very angry that it was gonna happen. But they were gonna charge a monthly fee for online access for multiplayer, and we were all laughing because, like, Wulfegang brought up, like, oh yeah, but you can only voice chat with an app on your phone, like like it's not even on the actual Switch to be able to play multiplayer games. But where are they with that?
Someone said Justin, I don't play video games. Young bought one.
Yeah, if Justin Robert Young buys a Switch, then boom, bam, it's a. They technically didn't ever switch online, so it was supposed to be in the fall. We've passed the fall now. We're in 2018. Where's that at? It was supposed to be a monthly or yearly fee for internet stuff. And we were, I mean, we thought that
Nintendo.
We thought that'd be the killer. We honestly all thought that was going to be the killer because the no games plus online pay. Cass doesn't care about VR.
I don't care about VR. I don't care about Nintendo. Sticking to my guns.
Let's be real.
All of you said, except Jveezy because he wasn't here, said you were going to avoid the Metal Gear game that came out this year. Did that actually come out? I don't even remember it happening.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think it did.
There was supposed to be a Konami minus Kojima.
The one with the zombies?
I don't know. I didn't look at it. I don't. Apparently, this prediction came true because I don't know anything about this game. But we were like, yeah, this Metal Gear game, and I was like, and I think there was a point where I said, you guys aren't going to be able to look at this car crash. I said, I challenge you guys to not look at the car crash because both you, Bryce and Wulfegang, both said, there's no way I'm going to look at any game that Konami puts out without Kojima for Metal Gear stuff. And I was like, bullshit, because if you're going to want to see how bad it is, and you're going to want to be like piqued on the interest of how bad it is. And so you're going to watch it like a car crash when you drive by. And apparently it just didn't come out, or
I don't know if it did or not, to be honest.
Or we all just ignored it because we're that good. Price-wise, the Nintendo Switch Online service will come in at $19.99 a year when it launches fully in 2018. Well,
that's not that bad.
Well, it's 2018. Where's the service? Also, I've never done anything online with my Switch.
I bought a couple of games, I think.
I don't have a Switch. I don't have anything to add.
Puck says Metal Gear Survive is March 2018.
Oh, there you go. It got moved back. Awesome. Shenmue not coming this year is what I said. Shenmue was not coming this year. Turns out Shenmue didn't come out this year.
We've got to require like one positive prediction and one negative prediction. Because I feel like all the Switch stuff, it's like everybody went into it assuming, like, with the general mindset that like Nintendo's on the downward trend.
Yes.
So then you kind of just take all the supporting evidence and you twist it to fit your own narrative of Nintendo's going downhill, and then it kind of just piles on, and then you get surprised at the end.
I was leaning heavily that they'd be on phone platforms still, even after 2016. I thought they were going to jump to the phone platform. I mean,
the fact that they actually released Super Mario on the iPhone.
Yeah, that was a big.
They let go of their baby and put it on an Apple product is.
In an Apple keynote, Mario was a feature. That was a
feature.
To me, I was like, I signed, sealed, delivered. Like this prediction is gone. I thought I could do no wrong with that, but turns out you just got to put a good Mario and Zelda game out in 1 year, and everyone loves you again.
They use that Apple money to build the Switch.
Yeah, they use the Apple money. So I brought this up because we did, for whatever reason, to have a politics section and a scandal/controversy section. So I remember we were at the period of we didn't have a Trump president yet, but we already knew we were going to get Trump. So I said that there was going to be overreach of government into the gaming sector, which would cause a backlash response from the White House administration to crimp down heavily on games. It turns out games was the only thing untouched, by the overreach of the presidency. Which I'm like, sweet. I love that I brought it up because I was like, yeah, I mean, this is gonna obviously the first thing that they're gonna fuck with is games. It's gonna be some kind of backlash. Something's gonna happen. Someone's gonna die in Pokemon Go or VR. And then it's going to be like, Trump says video games got to be more locked down. And we're going to have, whatever. It turns out not even an inch of that is true. Nothing of that happened. And I am happy as a clam.
They know what video games are. So
yeah.
good.
Literally, out of all the things that could have been touched and have been touched by the current administration, video games have been sailing sweetly through unfettered.
I do want to give myself credit for my scandal though, because it is broad as fuck, but it is exactly what happened. Okay, it is the people versus Trump, which is literally all this year was the people versus Trump. Like,
well, I mean, what was your other option? The other prediction is everyone
People
completely loves Trump. Like, turns out great president. Who knows?
yeah. Well, I called it the fucking ramp up, and it ramped up. It ramped up, my dude.
I did honestly want to give you credit for that because it is funny that you said that because I looked at this originally and was like, oh yeah, a little bit, and it is every news outlet is just looking for that one like, here's how Trump fucked us story. Like it is, and it's great. It's fun.
Yeah.
Well
like
done.
I saw. Ooh, I didn't see it getting to the point that it got, but I was like, man, there are gonna be fucking protests and rallies for there's gonna be the initial ones, right? Because there's always the initial ones, no matter what, no matter who wins a presidency, there's always gonna be those people who want to protest and rally and do all that shit, right? But I was like, with this shit, there's going to be a new one every 4 months for a new reason.
every day.
Yeah.
There's going to be violence and
there was
rioting in the street.
There was violence. So much fun. I shouldn't be this happy about it.
I mean, so one of the things that we
All right.
no, sorry, I'm shutting down. Yeah,
Kaz, you were right. There was a lot. It's been more of a weekly thing. If anything, you didn't go far enough, Kaz.
No, I didn't. I did not. I should have future sighted that, man. I should have trusted in the heart of the cards and just went fucking deep end.
I said there'd be Pokemon clones for days, Pokemon Go clones all over the place in 2017. I thought every app store was gonna be filled with catching virtual augmented reality monsters, and I don't know why this didn't happen. To be honest,
I think
because
is it too hard to do, or is it not that fun?
Dip. Well, no, I think it's because of the dip that Pokemon Go had, where people thought it was going to die off. Right, so that dip lasted for a while, and I feel like because that dip lasted for like a few months, like 3 or 4 months, that dip in user base and user interaction hit, I think people backed off of the let's make a clone and try to get that money, right? Because you have the initial land grab that Pokemon Go gets, and then everybody looks at it and is like, oh man, we need to jump on that. But it Pokemon Go took that really hard user base dip, so people probably just backed off and were like, ooh, no, they're already dipping, our secondhand shit probably isn't going to do as great, so let's just not, let's not, fight for pennies.
All right, so
I think, Curly, what you said about like, is it hard? And maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But Ingress existed for like 6 years before Pokemon Go came out.
Yeah, and they
And
built
so,
the
like, that was-
data
that
on
was-
Ingress, though, right? Like the same
and-
Ingress points were the same data points that they used for all of it to
Yeah,
start.
and then
with.
so somebody building a new game, they wouldn't have that 6 years of development before that to build off of. They
I
would
feel
have to.
is that data not in Google Open Maps and shit? Like places that you can pull that fucking stuff from? Like,
I mean, yeah, it is, and obviously, like you just take the idea, and you even if you don't necessarily have the backbone, you have the idea of it, and you can build off of just the idea and use what you learn from watching people play somebody else's product,
Yeah.
and then try to build your own. So there's a little bit of a shortcut you can take there, but I think it's more of a combination of what both you and Kaz said, that nobody necessarily saw a reason to after they saw the initial 1 month spike of Pokemon Go, followed by the massive drop off.
I mean, I think it's still hitting numbers though, so I don't know.
Apparently, Niantic is making a Harry Potter
That's
AR game.
That's gonna be great. So all of these are basically whatever piques your nostalgia enough that you're gonna go and want to like collect things. Because honestly, like Pokemon Go, if you replaced it with any idea of like just random shit like, oh, I'm collecting rocks.
Yeah.
You don't care. You're not going to care about it. But if it's Pokemon, you're like, yeah, these little living creatures. I was hoping that they would elaborate further on it and make it more of an entertaining game.
I'm also pretty sure I said this last time, because I say this anytime Pokemon is brought up. I don't give a fuck about anything that is Pokemon until I get a fucking a Pokemon MMO. I want a fucking
I'm still with Kaz on
legitimate
that.
Yes.
Pokemon MMO. Just please.
The trouble is,
give me
MMOs have to make you feel like you're important. And when you go MMO for reals with actual interaction with other people, you all can't be important. This is the problem that governments have.
But
you can't all feel like you're important. You're not important.
But here's the thing. The universe that Pokemon is, to me, in my head, lends itself so well to an MMO.
If you could make it so, yes, you had legitimate rules and it was all locked down, there was no cheating available, and someone could be the best, and someone had to earn it and fight for it every day.
I don't think you need that part, right? Because you never even get to that part in the anime or anything else that is Pokemon. That is just the allure of that, right? And there will be those fucking sweaty ass nerds who fucking 24/7 and have the level 600 Pikachu that you just can't defeat, and that motherfucker comes and Team Rockets all your fucking Pokemon every week, and you're just like, God damn, I hate that guy. Get him off the server, he's cheating. But
yeah.
I feel like that universe beyond that lends itself so well to just the MMO style, right? You pick your region that you want to start. You have those Pokemon that live within that region. Like, you do all that shit. It literally has the MMO like leveling system built into it. Just in its conceptuality. Like,
if you made a extremely, and this would be beautiful, man. And I know it's never gonna happen because it's such a small market. But if you made the game that was Pokemon and you mapped it onto Earth, and you just let Earth be the map, and then you made regions, and Pokemon were in certain regions, and you had to physically fucking travel to get real different Pokemon.
that's Pokemon Go!
But it isn't. It isn't, though, because they keep fucking making headway for people to be like, no, well, I didn't get the ghost Pokemon, and so I guess I can have to go, ghost Pokemon's everywhere now. So, like, if you had to actually, like, man, I've always wanted those 7 Pokemon that you can only get in Japan. And then you actually have to travel to Japan to get those 7 Pokemon. And that was, sorry, if you don't do it, you don't get it. Like, go there. Like, that would be a great fucking option. And then you could be the very best. You could be the kid that actually had all of the Pokemon. Because you went to every fucking place.
That's not the point.
That'd be
I
cool.
just want the rich kids that are...
Yeah, I agree. It would just end up being rich kids. But yeah, I want the experience of walking down the street and then like fucking thing goes off because you caught sight of, or because like somebody else, like just the experience in the game of like you're walking down this path and then somebody looks at you funny, and then now you're in the middle of a battle, and just like even though that was annoying during the game, like I want that experience translated to life, and now you've got to battle this dude.
I wish we could fight people on the streets, right? Yeah.
Cue Ball 69, like. Like or whatever his fucking name is.
Nazi lover 77.
Yeah.
Sorry, what?
Got another one, Ghost Pokemon.
Yeah, it just or the fact that like this was a collection game is what it was, and I think that's where it kind of lost me, is that like at some point the novelty of just collecting things.
According to our Pokemon Go expert, Gabby, there are still region-locked Pokemon. So shut your fat lips, Curly, because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Okay.
I added that last part.
No, Gabby's actually said it that way many times to me.
That actually sounded a lot like Gabby.
I want the Pokemon Snap game for the Switch because it lends itself so perfectly to be able to just take the Switch out and move it around looking to take pictures.
It doesn't have cameras.
I don't like.
No, I mean it's not like in your house. I mean, just like moving the camera around and just like having it move in the game.
Well, so I feel like the game that was released was closer to that. It was closer to Pokemon Snap than it was to Pokemon, and I wanted Pokemon, and
we all really want Pokemon Snap, right?
Like,
that's what we want.
Well, no, I mean, because
Pokemon. I want
this was
WoW Pokemon Edition. That's what I want, except without all the WoW.
I want Amazon to train drones to go out and actually act like Pokemon, and then when you point your camera at them, they become the Pokemon they are, because the QR code on the front of the Pokemon drone, and then you actually have to throw. You actually have to fight it, and it shoots laser beams at you, and it cuts you with knives. And
except for the fact that like an Amazon Pokemon thing, you'll be like, all right, Pikachu, electric. I'm sorry, I did not understand that. Curry, can you say it again? Electric bolt. Would you like to buy electric bolts? We have a deal on them at Amazon right now. No, you know what? Fuck this battle. I'm leaving.
Kaz is literally my dad right now. Oh God, I don't want to bring up any more fucking Trump shit. So I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, if you want more Trump shit, just watch the news tomorrow.
We did make an overall.
Go read the book that's out.
We assumed that we as a collective group last year assumed that there'd be we kind of leaned in. We didn't say it would be 100%, but we said there was a good chance of impeachment attempts at during 2017. And I think there was a good run at them.
There was one. Yeah.
There was one that was introduced by some guy, and I think like it got like 5 votes or something.
Yeah. What we did not predict, which I don't think anyone could have predicted, is all this amazing strengthening of support for women in the workplace that we have never had in the history of humanity, which I think is amazing. Who the fuck knew? I mean, really, like I had conversation after conversation with peers and friends working at different places, and I cannot name a single one because they're all in lawsuits right now. But who we were all like, honestly, like a friend of mine, and I won't name names, but a friend of mine quit her job at a big place because she literally was aware. I mean, she was in a position where she was aware of all of the paychecks and somehow was expected to not notice that they're just bringing in like sons of other workers and friends of other workers and men that were replacing people whose could have been the next position for a woman who had been in the company for 10 years or 20 years. And it was rampant across the entire company. And she's like, I can't not pretend I don't see this. Like, and she brought it up and said, I have to leave because I can't do it. And she left. And then we're now fast forward to 2017, and the company's calling her and being like, we need you back. Like, we've fired everyone that was fucked up. Like, can we please have you back? here's your possible numbers, like whatever you want, like we're gonna do it because we know that you can sue. Like please, like don't, And who knew we'd be at this point in 2017? I had no idea.
Well, so for the longest time, it's been the sort of thing where it's like, this dude's a creep over here, that dude's a creep, and it's kind of open secret sort of thing. And then now we've stepped over that line of like, why don't we actually do something about these open secrets?
And we've always wanted to, and we've always, and every time it's ever been tried, it's always been met with, oh, that's just the way it is. Why don't you be a little bit more thick-skinned? Blah blah blah. And you're right, Jveezy. We've stepped over that now.
Now it's like, no, that's bullshit that we continue to put up with this. Like, we can do better. We want to do better. We say we want to do better, and now it's time to actually do better.
Because every company has people that know those people.
Yeah.
Every company. And every company knows those people, and they're like, one day he'll get his comeuppance. One day he'll get his comeuppance.
Yeah.
And we never work towards that.
Why not today?
Yeah, now we're doing it today.
Yeah. And everybody decided to do it all at once.
All in 1 year. I mean, I'm not necessarily trying to pat everyone on the back, but I think we're doing good. And I think it's going to get better at this point. Hopefully that leans in. That's my prediction for and we're not doing predictions. So we brought up the impeach, Kid Dies in VR. Bryce / Jveezy, who's answering for Bryce's crimes here, said someone will try to buy or will buy Netflix this year. He was convinced, and I put it in here, Apple would do it. Apple would buy Netflix this year in 2017.
He might be a year off of that. Because I might have seen something the other day. It might have been from some bullshit, Business Insider or one of those sites. But I think Puck's backing me up on that. He says Apple kind of looked into it at the end.
They did, right?
So maybe that's so yeah. They're
side-eyeing it.
Yeah, there's window shopping, like Curtis is saying.
Kaz got angry about this and started talking about Hulu and started talking about bullshit all over the place.
Well, and I think a closer story to that.
I had to skip those minutes. I'm sorry.
I get angry, dude.
We're all pretty drunk by this point in time in the episode.
I think Disney buying Fox might be a closer.
Because we didn't. We're at a point where was it? Shit. When it wasn't this year. No, never mind. I was gonna say like with Disney owning so much right now, right? Like Disney owning Lucas and Disney owning,
Marvel.
Marvel. Fuck yeah.
Well, first it was part of Marvel or part of the Marvel properties. Now it's all of them, and
what I find interesting is Disney won't get Fox Sports as part of the package because they own ESPN already.
Because Disney bought Fox. That was the big thing. Disney bought Fox.
Yeah.
Right? Like bought everything that wasn't like a main Fox thing.
Yeah.
So Disney now owns
so Fox News,
Disney owns X-Men though, like
well, people in the government are saying, you need to step in, they're becoming too big.
You're too big, government.
So basically
but Comcast can do it and it's fine.
If they, and I guess they are talking about doing their own streaming service. They could have one, and they have the library to do one now, and to pull it off of all the other services that they're currently outsourcing out to. And
now that they're building that point, they're able to do their own thing.
Yeah. So for a company like Apple to buy Netflix, that would be sort of the aim, is to get that sort of distribution arm, and Disney can kind of do that on their own now with this acquisition that they've just made.
Well, Disney stuff has already started being pulled off of Netflix for their own streaming stuff. Isn't it?
Yeah, and so Puck is mentioning that.
Well, they pulled their stuff out of Netflix, right? Yeah. So they're going. Yeah. Their intent is to do their own thing.
Oh, they will buy Fox Sports? I thought they
could. No, they're not buying FS1. They're buying the local Fox networks.
Oh,
so
okay.
like your Fox Sports.
I'm
thinking Fox Sports, but
Fox 5,
local, and all those, but not
Fox Sports DOJO.
It's not the Fox Sports that actually has broadcasting rights to the World Cup.
Yeah.
coming
okay.
up.
Oh, that's the big
And-
thing. Yeah, right.
Yeah, not the National Fox Sports Network.
Oh, that's a big hole.
So,
I mean, but
yeah,
Hulu,
they're-
but Hulu having local Fox channels, right? Hulu having, I don't know, man, guys. I'm out of touch with this shit. Does Hulu have anything you ever look at? Like, I don't look at Hulu for anything.
So here's
I've been looking at
here's-
a lot more stuff, and I think they do have ABC stuff. They have some Fox stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
Hulu
like they have like all the
has-
Bob's Burgers and all that. And
Yeah,
Hulu has like a
Fidget Fresh
pretty
off the
good
boat on
lineup
there.
of shit, except for the fucking stupid ass fact that they only show you like the current season and then the last 7 episodes of the current season,
Yeah.
and it is the stupidest fucking thing.
Like, what is it? Is it a cost issue? Like, what? Why would you do that? Like, if you want
Because
people to binge,
it's-
just do it.
It's a percentage of TV networks, right? So a percentage of them are owned by TV networks. TV networks want you to watch TV, right?
No, thanks.
Right. And that's my thing. And like, I no, fuck you. I don't want to watch TV. If I wanted to watch, if I wanted to sit week to week, I wouldn't own fucking Netflix. You fucking.
If I had
trog.
to, if I had, I gotta get home. I gotta get home from the grocery store because I gotta watch my Dragon Ball Super before. Oh no, I missed it. Like, I'd be so pissed. I know that it comes out a certain day, and then I can watch it when I want to choose to watch it. That's the way it should be.
Yeah, and we grew up with that, so we know that that's bullshit.
Yeah,
like we
yeah.
don't want that. We don't want to go back to that. We don't want to go. We don't want that anymore. This is
Right. I rushed home enough to watch Dragon Ball as is.
yes. I had to fight with my mom so that I could watch TV at 2:30 p.m. because I had the fucking satellite feed of Dragon Ball, which was Cartoon Network East, and I couldn't watch it at like
You heard it here
5:30 like
first.
everybody else
Jveezy
did.
knocks out his mom to watch
It's-
Dragon Ball.
Well, I
not
remember I would,
physically fight with my mom, but and I mean, of course, I always lost that fight because Asian household. But you know,
She had the chunkless.
no, those are chopsticks, and yeah. So like, we don't want to plan our life around timing stuff. because
Unnecessary timing stuff.
Yeah.
That's the point.
yeah. Like we're okay with this releases on this day, and then you can watch it at any time after that. We're cool with
I
that.
understood when it was a time period where it was like the only way to get it to you was to broadcast it over Wi-Fi or over RF radio. Like, I understood that like you had to do it, but there's no reason why we can't watch an episode when it comes out, when you've made it, it's done. We paid for it.
There's
we
no
want it.
reason. There's no reason why ABC, Disney, ESPN cannot own their own fucking torrent service.
Yeah,
and just see
why-
that shit to us.
Do it, and we can watch it when we want, and we can also help you share it to your other fans, and it costs you no bandwidth. And could you imagine if you implemented torrents as a network television service? Like, all these costs of distributing high definition video and audio. Oh wait, just torrent it, and your loyal fans will send it to your other loyal fans, and you can stop seating after 10 minutes. Done. They all handle it, and it's self-fulfilling. Nah, crazy.
Nah.
nah.
Self-driving cars were gonna be a hit. We're how we doing on that, everybody?
Baby steps.
Baby steps towards not having to own your own car.
I think some crashes.
Bryson
You're,
has.
Set it
you're
back a
still on
little.
this not owning a car bullshit. And I don't fucking know.
I literally just listened to you a year ago yell at me about this, Kaz, so I can't handle it right now. So a year ago, I started bringing it up, and Kaz was like, I have to listen to this motherfucker talk about his desire to not ever own a car every fucking time he thinks about it, and I'm fucking tired of listening about it. So I'm not going to say it. You talk about you.
I think
No,
there
I
are
just-
some
it's-
crashes that have set back self-driving cars some. So
A little
Which are necessary. It's part of the process.
Yeah.
Of
people dying are part of the development process. So.
it's and
Okay. There's been a lot of developmental processes in this country that have involved people dying. Let's not fucking shit on self-driving cars killing 1 or 2 people.
I'm just saying. So I mean, like, people at work constantly are like, "Oh, you like the idea of self-driving cars? Like, how are they going to handle this situation?" And I'm like, "Bitch, dude, you know how quick your fucking computer can talk to other things in your computer? If you have
Yeah.
cars that can talk to each other and just make decisions based on like all of them at the same time, you know how much better all of that will be? Like
Generally,
you ever seen
the answer to that question of how would your self-driving car handle this situation?
look at how
that
IP
situation would
packets
not come up.
travel over the internet.
Yeah.
Okay? Do you think you can drive 100 megabits a second? And you think you can fucking the concept of how much shit happens, and maybe because I've been reading the Cisco networking book, you know how much fucking shit happens when you just want to fucking get a goddamn movie file from your fucking server in another room? A lot of shit happens instantaneously. So if they can do that, they can drive my car. Okay.
Yeah. And actually, I think the better response to how would a self-driving car handle that situation is how would the worst driver on the road near you handle that situation? And would you rather have a computer doing that than that motherfucker?
Fucking Marie who smashes into my bumper because she can't. She missed up. She couldn't figure out which pedal went where all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And she's been driving for 10 years.
If we get to the saturation where there are more majority of self-driving cars than people-driven cars,
Yes.
like those situations don't happen anymore.
Yes.
Yeah.
They don't. Like those situations are a moot point because guess what? There's not an idiot who decided I need to now be in that lane.
Yeah. Well, so here's the thing.
car figured out 12 miles back, we need to be in that lane.
Here's 17 cars around you, the Mr. I don't want to drive, or I don't want to have a self-driving car. You're driving, and here's 17 other cars. They're all talking to each other. All of their scanners are all live around you, and they're like, "Oh, hey, this guy's not on our network. He's on our network. He's on our network. Hey, heads up, heads up, heads up, heads up. Oh, he's moving left. Everyone, he's moving left. He's moving left." And everyone is like, "Oh," and the fucking sea of tranquility spreads, and this guy moves in, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that's right. I'm a great driver. I'm a great driver," because they all moved for me. Like,
it's herd immunity.
God.
That's what it is. It's just like vaccines.
yeah.
Like this.
There could be a guy in the road. There could be a guy in the road trying to hit every car in the world, and all the self-driving cars are like, "Oh, he's speeding up, bitch! Go, 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 go!" And then it's like, boop, 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 boop.
This now creates the problem that you have in video games where somebody wins in a situation, like you're like, they're stupid. How is he not dead? Oh my God, he won. Like now he thinks he's the greatest fucking gamer ever because of the stupid situation that happened turned out in his favor. And now I can't tell him shit. Like, so now you're going to have that guy who's like, "Yeah, I'm going to go be a race car driver." And you're like, "No, you can't pull out of your own driveway." Like, nah, but you should have saw me on the road the other day. Like, I was going 120 and like, I didn't hit anything. And you're like, "Yes, that's because all those cars knew you're an asshole and knew to avoid you." Nah, it's because I'm the best.
Well, I mean, we have that currently. Like, I am a conscientious driver. I will drive in the second to the left lane, and when people are behind me, I will pull to the right and let them pass, and I'll pull back. So I'm the guy who lets people pass. But then you'll get someone who's like on your asshole, and you're in traffic, and there's a guy who's on your asshole, and he's like, "Let me pass," and you're like, "You're going to what? There's nothing in front of me that you could get to. Why are you?" But you let him pass, and he goes up there and he's like, "Yeah, I'm awesome because that guy let me pass," and you're like,
See,
I hope the world of hurt on you, dude.
I'm the asshole that lets them pass and then tries as hard as I can to pass them later, just to make a point that like, motherfucker, you pulled dumbass shit to pass me, and I
can't get caught up.
None of that exists.
None of that exists in this world, like Kaz is saying.
Yeah, and that's why driving will be healthy and clean and amazing. I don't think it's gonna happen in the next year, but you know.
Oh no, definitely not in the next year. But
Bryce said Sanders is gonna be still trying to make a happy change in the world.
Okay, that's true.
Yeah, he's still doing that.
And you'll never see Hillary again.
Not true.
Turns out she tried to fucking sell a book.
Didn't go well.
I don't know. I was driving to work one day and Hillary was on the radio and I was like, "No, you don't get a second chance, you monster."
No, I think she should be allowed because, like,
she's dead to me.
She's had an entire career of people just shitting on her. So now I think she gets to have her "I fucking told you so" tour, because she did fucking tell us so.
It's her fault. It's her fault we're here.
You're not wrong.
The
But it's
old
also not all
old
her fault.
Welcher handed her on a silver platter. And she flubbed it. And she flubbed it.
We've got to the point where an actual argument for voting for a person is, I would rather vote for a child molester than a Democrat.
Yeah.
We did get.
We did. Welcome to 27.
We are at that point.
No. Actually,
No,
no. The thing is, that guy lost.
Yeah, he lost.
No, but the thing is,
Barely.
I know that got brought up, but who thought? I mean, honestly, we were concerned that would go the bad way, and it turns out it went the good way, and that's what I love about 8/17? Yeah,
Something.
2017. We honestly thought. I mean, honestly, I didn't write any. I didn't write any of this in here. I didn't write any of this in here. But honestly, there was like such. There were again. This was coming off of the Trump election, but not the Trump. You know, we didn't have Trump as a president yet. There was a lot of doom and gloom all over the podcast over the 2017 month. There was a lot of because there was a lot of like, hey guys, next year we'll talk about our predictions from this year and if we did it. And like Bryce was like, if we're still here. Like it was a lot. There was a lot of like doom and gloom, like yeah, if we actually make it, we might actually have nukes, going off.
Yeah.
And it turns out it's been a great year for women. It's been a great year. Like we're despite obviously Trump and stuff. Maybe it just took a turd in the fucking in the White House to get us there, right?
Because Chappelle's got a whole stand-up bit about this, but yeah.
I mean, so the final thing I wrote was one of the discussions we had was back and forth, and we were all split, and we actually all of us came back and forth with the discussion with whether this year would be the year that politically America got more centered or went towards a civil war. Like,
yeah.
Either we pushed each other apart so much that we're just at the point of like, let's shoot each other, fuck it. Or we were like, hey, we know that you don't like what we like, but we can agree on certain smaller things and bring us to the center. And I think, in all honesty, you give us a shithead and we all fucking we all clambered to the center. I think we did a better job. I mean, it's not to the center. We're not there, but I think we're doing good.
Well, so kind of one of these things that now that you mentioned that, like, kind of oddly enough, that we've kind of in the last few months, in kind of one of the areas you don't generally expect to see kindness. Me and Jveezy do the sports podcast, and we have been more and more seeing these stories of, rather than fans being idiots, you get more and more fans being good guys, right? Like we just had fans give a bunch of money to a quarterback, not for their team, for another team that won a game that allowed their team to get into the playoffs. They donated a shit ton of money to his charity. Like, and then there was a bunch of fans sent a guy trash cans, and instead of him being like, man, fuck those people, he took those trash cans and filled them with toys and gave them to charity. Like, and there's just kind of been more of that, and we're like, yeah, that should continue. People should continue to do good shit like that.
Yeah, I think there's kind of a shift, and
I think more people than ever are aware.
Kind of, well, one other. I mean, it's not not just a political thing, but I feel like, okay, we had our year where we said, oh, holy shit, everything's going to go to hell. And we kind of got all that out of our system, that whole everything's going to go to hell part out.
Yeah.
And then now we're like, okay, now we're in what do we do about this mode? And we're kind of in, all right, if I can do something nice for somebody today, I'm going to do it. And so now we're seeing people do good things for each other. We're seeing people kind of pick each other up, hold each other up, have like everybody, hold hands and hang in there, sappy sort of way. But like, it's almost like we almost got sick of, I don't want to say we got completely sick of the negativity. The negativity's still there. It's just at some point we know that there's a line, and there's only so much negativity we can spew out, and at some point it's not going to help us anymore. So now we need to do positive things to help ourselves. It's almost like for Black Mirror when it came out this recent season, Charlie Brooker straight up said, I just put more happy episodes this season because we need a couple more happy episodes than the last 3 seasons of just relentless, holy shit, the world's going to hell sort of stuff. It's, this year we're going to give you some more happy stuff. And, and I think everybody's, I don't want to say everybody, but I feel like a lot more people are kind of taking that sort of mindset of let's stop talking about how the world's going to hell and let's start doing good things for each other.
Yeah.
When I get upset, I just watch the Gorilla Channel.
Okay.
Meta jokes. Okay.
Yeah, my new calming thing is to watch the Great British Bake Off, dude. Just watch people make cake and be nice to each other in a competition show. It's fucking. It's something.
I've made the joke plenty of times about the world going to hell or whatever, and I low key wise, I told myself this year that I want to be more kind to people. Like that was my plan,
Mm-hmm.
and the fact that I had that as a thing in my own head, like there was no external stuff. There was no I didn't tell this to anyone. I'm actually kind of saying this for the first time here. The fact that I thought that I should be more kind as a New Year's kind of like plan for the next coming on years is a big deal. Like I think that's important. And I think that's amazing that's what I thought of the first thing I want to do. Because I always considered myself a person who thinks of people and thinks of the community and thinks of everything that I'm doing. I also am aware of myself and all that stuff as well. But like, I feel like there's room to be more kind, and I want to do that in this year. And that's kind of I think it's important. I think that's because of the way we've been going this year. We turned what would be the worst the worst thoughts of what we'd get from this year, and the good is coming out of the world, I think.
Yeah. Maybe it's a kind of recognition that, you know what, fucking government isn't going to take care of us, which I know for you, that's no surprise to you.
Duh.
But it's more of like, okay, we can't rely on them, so we got to take care of ourselves now. And when I say ourselves, we got to take care of each other. So we did. We took care of each other, and
we're doing it better than we've ever done.
Yeah, better than we've done before. We're not completely doing it. It's there's still a lot of work to do.
There's always a lot of work to do.
Yeah, it's a process. There's baby steps.
I agree, like wholeheartedly. I agree, like so much, right? But the only thing that I have a problem with in that is like I love be nicer, be a kinder person, be a better person, right? Just be a better you. But the thing I hate is don't don't fake be nice. Or as some people call it, like don't hug box. Don't tell
Yeah.
me everything's gonna be okay just to
Yes.
tell me everything's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Like if a thing is shitty, just say, hey man, that's shitty. Like I feel for you. You know, don't be like, oh, you know what, it's better on the other side. No, like that's
Yeah.
that's as bad as just being a shitty person.
But
Like,
when you do those things though, Kaz, when someone does those things, they're not doing the first thing you said. They're not looking at the actual either themselves first, or they're not looking at the person first. When you actually take a step back and maintain a strong personal systemic system of values that or your values, either yourself is first, or the person you're taking care of is first, or your parents are first, or your kids are first, or whatever. You are the person who just determines your system of values, your layers of what is important on a like worst case scenario. I have to protect this versus this kind of value system. And when you do that, and you live and subscribe to that, none of that other stuff that you're talking about, it becomes a problem. You're never lying to someone. You're gonna be like, I care about you, but I also care that I live more than you do. So, like, sorry,
Yeah.
and that's okay. That's perfectly okay. But sometimes that situation changes. Some people care for their children more than they care about their own lives. And that's their own personal system of values. And they can say, I would rather die so that my child lives, or I would rather die to get a hat that looks great on my head. Some people are that way, and owning to your own system of values is the most important thing a human being can do in their existence. And you don't have to lie about it, because once you actually determine your system of values, you don't. There's no reason to lie. You're just like, you're not on. You're number 3, and this is number 2. Like, that's it. That's how it goes. And you know what? You can't front anyone for that, dude. Like, that's life. Well, yeah, no, I agree. I hate the fakeness of that, because a lot of people will come into this with different, and this gets super philosophical, but like a lot of people come into systems of values, and they base it on someone else's systems of values, and it's either going to be a text like a Bible, or it's going to be a doctrine taught by their parents, and those are their systems of values. And they never actually interpret their own systems of values. And so when it comes to a head with their own personal beliefs, it becomes a problem, because you start lying. You start lying to yourself, and you start lying to people around you about what matters to you. And then you try to like become a thing that isn't what you actually believe. And that's a problem.
And then when you don't live up to that standard, then you feel like you're broken.
You let
way.
yourself down, and you let everyone else down at the same time. And that's not good.
Yeah. And then you feel terrible, and then that affects your ability to continue to do things productively, and to continue to do things to meet this standard that somebody else set for you. And it's a death spiral. It's one that you have to pull yourself out of if you're going to, you got to stabilize somewhere, and
you have to find
figure
a
out
rock.
all that stuff about yourself. And yeah, I know we're kind of getting off track here as far as 2017 predictions, but
this is our new 2018
like
show, guys. It's going to have psychology and philosophy with Curly and Jveezy. It's gonna be
I feel like everybody had,
put your gas mask on first.
2016 happened, and then it caused everybody to take a look at themselves and figure out what's important to them. And and I think 2017 was a result of that, and,
I think
and
that's
people putting a little bit more of that into action.
That's a great way to bring it up because it really is that a lot of people didn't look internally, or I mean they did, but they didn't look internally until this year. A lot more people are looking at what it means to be a good human being, a good, kind, important human being, and we're all just messy shits, and we're and I think
We're all trying to
getting
figure it out, and it wasn't necessarily that they looked for the first time; it's that they looked for a second time. After 2016 happened and reality hit them in the face,
we're all looking socially now, though, like together.
Yeah.
We're looking as a group. Like, it's good. I think it's good. I think it's great.
We're looking at a group, and then we're going online and we're saying, "This is what I see. Is this what you guys see too?" And then other people say, "No, this is not exactly, but I can kind of see where you're coming from," or "This is what I see." And now everybody's talking, and when everybody's talking, that's a good thing because that's where we start reading each other. And
well, I mean, we've expressed this before here in this channel. Is like the more people that keep talking, I have a big voice here in this small microcosm of the world. I have a big voice, but I've been proven wrong so many times here, like by people that are just. I mean, you make more sense than I do, and I didn't even perceive the possibility of the sense you made. But the fact that I make a big voice, and then everyone else is open, and we've always been open to everyone else's discussion. We've grown as a group, and I love that, and I've grown as a person because of that, and I want to keep doing that, and I feel like we're at a point where the world is growing like that,
I think another big thing that shifted it was all of these people coming forward with these sexual harassment suits.
Yeah.
People finally were like, I'm tired of this. We should not be afraid anymore. Strength in numbers. We can't let this happen.
What are you talking about? What do you mean where people have been weird and gross? And
what? Touched me and...
What? That's impossible. I thought guys were the greatest.
Yeah, just the fact that it's now like, okay, we've got your back now. This is...
Just a heads up, don't touch people that don't want to be touched. Don't be a douche cock.
I agree. I am so glad that all of that has happened. I just don't want this to start, which like these kind of things happen every once in a while, and I just don't want this to start the thing of like all men are fucking disgusting. Like it's like no, that dude, and those other dudes. Like not every fucking dude is a disgusting perv. Like.
I get that opinion, Kaz. I do. I strongly get that. But you also have to be aware that while you're playing defensive there, you are aware personally. In any job you worked in, plenty of people that you should have said something about. You know that, and I look back and I'm disgusted with my own, like. I know people that were like, yeah, we all knew that guy was a creeper. That's why we didn't bring him out to parties. That's why we didn't invite him to parties. Like that guy was a fucking douche.
I haven't had too many.
I mean, he didn't do anything. He didn't have anything that, like, there's no record. But we know the guys that are not okay. And it was like, oh, well, he's my assistant manager or he's my manager, so we might as well invite him. Oh, all right. Well, just make sure you don't really like get too drunk in front of Dan. Like don't get too drunk and like just oh shit. Oh, Mary's really drunk. Let's keep her in the other room where Dan's not around. Like shit like that is just so like. Why did we enable that? And I have so many experiences where I enabled
non-confrontational.
I personally enabled those things to happen. Not happen because they didn't happen, but. I enabled them to be like socially norms. Like I let it happen, and I hate myself for that. Like I thought I was this big like guy that like loved women and thought he was like a protector of women. But I sat there and let so many situations pass by where it was like, yeah, no, this guy Dan's a creeper, but he's a good fucking pizza guy. You know, like might as well let him fucking get by. Just don't invite him to any parties. Oh shit. Oh damn it. Mary's turning 18 tomorrow. She invited Dan to the party. Shit. Okay. All right, everyone. All right. Let's just make sure we don't get too drunk and we just let Dan not be in the same room as Mary.
Everyone plays zone defense.
Yeah. And it's like,
What?
why is that acceptable? Why the fuck did we let that be acceptable? As men and as adults and as human beings, like we are shitty as fuck. And I usually don't lean on like people who didn't commit some kind of crime to be an asshole. But you know what? We were fucking assholes for letting that happen and letting it be. Because we just shucked the blame forward, dude. Like, I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm drinking.
Yeah. Well, so I guess
There's also
this
an
goes back.
account of people taking their own responsibilities for things, right? Like
Yeah.
it's
so I
really hard to vocalize how like.
Well, so there's that, and then there's the fact that the rest of us need to, like, if that's not us, the one that is speaking up, like, we need to create an environment where people feel comfortable doing that. Because, you know, in the past, there's been people taking the initiative to speak up and then getting shouted down. And so now, you know, yeah, everybody believes that, you know, these people should speak up. And then now, do we believe that enough to put our actions where our mouth is so that the next time somebody does speak up, we are listening? And so I mean that's part of the change. That's part of, you know, the 2017, we're being more active, we're being more proactive, you know, about everything now.
Because we didn't listen before then. No one listened before then.
Yeah, or we listened and we just kind of swept it under the rug. And you know, now we listen and now we do something about it. Or at the very least, we don't tell the person that spoke up that, you know, to just suck it up. And, you know, now we back them up, or we, you know, believe them, or, you know, going from open secrets to actually actions.
One of the most interesting things I listened to was on NPR, where All Things Considered was brought under fire because and I might not name everything that I'm saying accurately, but there was a chick who brought up an article about the previous host of All Things Considered. I don't know the name, don't remember his name, but he was gone from the company, and she brought it up because she had years and years and years ago been a person who was brought on the show, and they were like, yeah, we'd love to have you on, blah blah blah, and so she came on because of an article she wrote, and the current MC of All Things Considered brought her on, and they had a discussion, and then he kept emailing her for years, and it was like, yeah, we should have like drinks or whatever, and we should talk about like a new like program you can do, whatever. And every time not every time, like the one time that it happened, like he kept trying to make it a date versus a business meeting, and it was like, I don't want this. I want to have an actual like business conversation. He was like, oh, you're pretty in the dress and blah blah blah. And so she backed away from it, and then for years she avoided it, and he kept emailing her, was like, oh, you're so pretty, you should be on the show, blah blah blah, and she kept avoiding it, and then eventually he left the show. And then when this whole thing happened where people were voicing their complaints about, you know, harassment in the workplace, she went back to All Things Considered and NPR and National Public Radio and everything. And she was like, I want to just ask around about this guy. How were your guys? Because if I had a bad experience, how was your guys' experience? And she asked around, and like immediately every single person that she interviewed, like from the people that do the bakery stuff to the people that do actual shows. Everyone was like, "Oh yeah, no, we just avoided him. He was just terrible. He was a piece of shit." Yeah, I mean, not in the words that I used, but they were like, "Yeah, I know. We just we learned how to avoid his progressive actions towards ourselves." And she's like, "Yeah." So she was doing an interview with a current guy who does All Things Considered, and he was like, "Okay, yeah, no, we've heard about the allegations about this guy and blah blah blah," and he was like, "How do you guys like feel about it?" And she was like discussing that stuff, and at some point he was like, "So, what would you like want to say about like blah blah blah?" And she was like, "You know what? I actually don't want to address any of what your question was. I want to address the fact that you've been in this company." And this is the guy that's doing the new All Things Considered, and he's honestly a great guy. And she's like, "You've been here for 10 years. You've worked with him before. I didn't do crazy investigative journalism. I walked into the studio and I asked people, have you ever felt sexually harassed?" And I got hundreds of responses from people. She's like, "How do you feel about the fact that you've never said anything as a male working in this studio?" And he's like, "I honestly, like, I don't know. Like, I've never felt accused by the guy. I've never felt bad by the guy, but obviously I've never seen anything," is what he said. It's like, and that's one of those things that's like, I wanted to like bring that up because we allow it to happen in situations, like as people that work with other guys. We know the guys that are creepers. We know that they're bad. But this guy, like, I mean, you just don't know. I mean, you let it happen because you think that at some point he's going to get his comeuppance or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, and so I guess this year it did, and
A lot of people are getting their comeuppance.
yeah. So I think overall, this other sentiment that I kind of want to address is, this idea that, some people are saying like, "Oh man, I don't know, with all this stuff coming out, like you got to be really careful about how you treat people now." And I don't know. My reaction to that is, yeah, you do.
Yeah.
You kind of have always had to do that. And if you weren't doing that before, like if you weren't trying to, if you weren't trying to figure out how your words are going to be perceived, how your actions are going to be perceived, how the things you do that other people hear and other people that, the actions and words that you say and do that affect other people, how they're, how, if you're not thinking about that before you say and do things, then maybe you should be thinking about that before you say and do things, because that's how we interact with people in this world. That's how we find where we fit in this world, by coordinating with other people. Like all this is just communication. Like,
I mean, that's absolutely dead on. Dead on is
it doesn't mean
treat people well, dude. Like
it doesn't mean. I mean, that's like super vague though. Like it doesn't mean you can't ask people out, but you ask somebody out and they say no, so then drop
respect
it.
it. Yeah. It's like, "Oh, I can't tell a person that she's hot." Like, no, you can say like, "Hey, you're looking great tonight, Sharon," and she's like, "Hey, man, don't bother me with that." And you're like, "Okay,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
oh, okay, fine."
Yeah, I've crossed that line
And
many
it
times.
goes both ways.
Yeah. You cross that line, somebody says something, and then you step back over. It's like, maybe don't make a habit of it, but like at the same time, it's also not that big a deal either. Like, women aren't expecting to be treated perfectly in this world. They're not expecting to be coddled. They just want to be listened to every once in a while, maybe a little more often than every once in a while. And
Well, when shit goes awry, they want to be expected to have an understanding of like, hey, this guy came at me this way. Well, well, blah blah blah. Well, no, this guy came at me this way. How about that? That happened.
Yeah.
And that is the 27th.
I feel it's just an incident, not just women, just people across the board. Just listen to people when they say there's an issue. Like, just listen.
Be more responsive. Yeah, do more listen. Open a hot can of listen. If you don't like normal listen, we've got our new hot, delicious diet listen. It's great.
Because we all know what happens when you don't listen.
It works great for every situation, even beyond sexual harassment.
It does. And I hate you.
If someone is like, "Hey man, I've had a very bad day," you don't respond with, "That's okay. I've had a badder day." No, you respond with, "Hi, here's my hot can of listen," and you just drink it while you're listening to your friend tell a story.
And then you know what happens when you're done listening? Then your friend can listen.
Yeah.
But don't compete for the listen. That's all it really matters. Like, that's all it boils down to. Listen
2017.
2018, dude. 2018. Listen first, exclamation point second. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Like, if Curly's like, if I'm having a bad day and I go to Curly, but Curly's hits that point first of like, man, I'm gonna be like, what happened, brother? You tell me what happened. Brother. And he's gonna be like, you just fucking and that shit and this shit and that shit, and I'm gonna be like, yeah.
I mean, this is going to like, if we can start a campaign right here, this is going to go outwards all the way to the White House, like. Straight up and down, 2018. 2018, DKG, the year of the listen, guy. Like let it permeate, guys. The year of the listen, guys. Spread it with your friends. DKG, year of the listen.
Like, don't just me, because I'll fucking know. Don't interview style me. Don't. Don't you fucking do that to me. You listen.
You do that to your mom. You don't do that to us.
All right, guys. I think we did a great job. I think we're gonna call the show at this point. No, yeah. What do we have to say? We're gonna come up with what?
I said no. Yeah, we're pretty close to wrapping it up. Like,
no, we covered everything we needed to cover. We're going to be doing next weekend is literally a Thursday. I'm going to fly to PAX in San Antonio. Yeah, we're going to be hanging out with all these kids in PAX. Oh, I mean, none of these kids. Jveezy, no Wulfegang, no Kaz, because Kaz doesn't ever leave his house because doesn't have a job anymore. Me and Jveezy are going to be in San Antonio with everyone else.
Stupid motherfuckers.
You want me to check the emails? I have no emails. What are you talking about?
You're going to be in the airport in San Antonio at around 7 on.
My most recent email is Project Phi got me someone got me a referral code. For Project.
Aren't you already on it?
No.
Email is
I referred someone else.
Oh, okay.
But anyways, yeah.
This has been a different show than what you're probably used to, but thank you for listening to it. We love doing these little silly prediction shows, but they're only once a year, or twice this year to recap.
Hopefully next year will be our prediction of 2018 year.
Yeah, so enjoy that. If you're going to PAX, make sure you hang out with the DKG crew and do all those things. It'll be fanciful. It'll be fun. It'll be a banger, boys. You know what I mean? We'll bring back fucking. We're
gonna be streaming as much as we can.
What the hell was the room? The Bone Zone.
The Bone Zone.
Yeah, anywhere DKG goes at the Bone Zone, ladies and gentlemen. But make sure you have fun. Make sure you subscribe. You know what? 2018 is the year of the listen, but it's also the year you tell somebody else to listen to DKG. That's the two things.
This guy.
Listen and tell someone else to listen.
The year of the listen. God damn.
Go check out Wulfegang over on twitch.tv/Wulfegang. Jveezy. Is it still Jveezy01 or did you
It was never 01. It was a 209 before,
It
but I
was
got
never
rid of the 209. It's just like my Twitter handle, JVWZY. SportsOddsAndEnds.com.
Go ahead.
That's it. That's all I needed.
Oh.
It's all on the website.
XCOM. All the time.
XCOM exists.
Civ 6.
Play it. Civ 6.
Have a great time, everybody. See you guys
Motorsport
next
Manager.
time. We'll be in the middle of the San Antonio.
Meet us at the airport.